Okay, good morning all. Uh, Again, we start the last part of our code, that is a key phase uh, converters. So in the last lecture, already we have seen midpoint converter, right? So in that midpoint converter, the two so this is this one. Uh, so and this uh, so in a midpoint converter, there are three SCR used. So the voltage at the anode of the SCR is maximum positive. That SCR may be in the forward bias condition, and it turns on if you are applying triggering pulse at a right. So without triggering pulse, no SCRs may be turns on. So it should be remembered, triggering circuit is not shown here. Even protection circuit is also not shown, but it is always there, triggering circuit as well as protection circuit. So we should consider that that is first. Okay. So in this particular midpoint converter, okay, volume, right, right. Okay, I'll just increase the volume. I don't know to increase, but right. So am I audible? Yes. LV, am I audible? So, 15. Okay. Right now the audio is full, right? Am I audible, everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's a clear sound, or maybe required to increase further the sound level. Shall we continue? Yes. Am I audible, everyone? Uh,
Yes, sir.
okay. Okay. In the last lecture, we have seen that is midpoint converter for R load, right? So at the input side, there will be a delta type connection of a transformer, and at secondary side, star connected connection, right? We are using here the resistive load, right? And uh, whenever the phase voltage, that is the phase voltage of A or B or C, is more positive, that time the particular SCR which is connected to that phase is in forward bias condition, and whenever you apply triggering pulse, it start to conduct, right, and load current flow through the resistor. So if we consider that the voltage at VA is max positive as compared to the C and B, so T1 is in forward bias condition, so current flows through T1, then R, and then back to the neutral, right? So that time you will get a pulse as a output pulse, right? So if the voltage at phase B is more positive as compared to the phase A, then thyristor T2 is in forward bias condition. If you apply triggering pulse, it turns on. Similarly, if the voltage at VC is more positive, that time the thyristor T3 is in forward bias condition. If you apply triggering pulse, it turns on and load current flow through the R, right? So this is already completed in the last lecture. I'll just explain the waveform again. In this particular waveform, up to the alpha equal to, or you can say pi, alpha equal to 30 or pi by 6, your SCR, sorry, phase C is having more positive, right? That time the phase A is 0, phase C is negative. So if phase is 0, phase C, B is negative. So both SCRs are in off state, and only the SCR at, that is the phase 3, that is called T3, is in forward bias condition. If triggering pulse is applied, it turns on, right? As this alpha equal to pi by 6 or 30 crosses, you can see here the phase A is becoming more positive and phase C becoming a negative, or maybe a less voltage as compared to the A, right? So we can start your operation from this one. So as soon as you apply the triggering pulse to the thyristor T1, then immediately you will get this cycle or maybe a pulse. If alpha equal to 0, this first waveform is for alpha equal to 0, right? Then at this particular, it means from 30 to 150, this thyristor T1 is continuously on. At 150, if you see here, at 150, the phase B is more positive than phase A. Phase C is still negative, but phase A is now decreasing and phase B is increasing. So at the 150-degree, the voltage at phase B is more positive as compared to the phase A, right? If you apply triggering pulse, your SCR turns on and you will get a this cycle. Okay, that is from 150 to 270. That is 120-degree. Okay, again at this 270-degree, you can see here the voltage at phase B is decreasing, right? The voltage A is a negative, but voltage at phase C is increasing. Voltage at phase C is increasing. So C is more positive. So if you apply triggering pulse to the SCR T3, it turns on immediately and you will get a this part. Okay. So during one cycle, you will get a 3 pulses. So it is definitely more DC as compared to the single phase converter. And these waveforms are for alpha equal to 0, right? If alpha is from 0 to 30, alpha is from 0 to 30, what happens? We can consider alpha is maximum 30, right? So here alpha starts from this point. Okay, so this is up to the 30, right? So up to 30, you will get a continuous conduction mode, right? You will get a continuous conduction mode because here you can see here the conduction mode starts from 60 to 150 plus 30, right? So that is 120. You can see here every SCR conducts for 120, only for 120, right? If the alpha is from 30 to 60, it means total is 60, right? And your SCR conducts for 120 maximum, right? Out of the half cycle. So 180 minus 60 equal to 120. So it conducts for 120, this conducts for 120, this for 120, and this for 120. But if the alpha is greater than 30, it means that definitely you will get a discontinuous operation. You can see here it's a discontinuous operation, right? Because the conduction angle is decreases. See, the total cycle, half cycle is of 180, right? Out of that, SCR conducts for 120. So maximum allowable firing angle is up to 30 degrees for continuous mode operation. But for alpha is greater than 30, then definitely the total alpha is 30 plus 30, 60. So conduction angle is less than 120. So if conduction angle is less than 120, it means that you will get a discontinuous operation. You can see here the alpha is greater than 30 and less than 90. So you will get a discontinuous operation because your SCR doesn't conduct for 120 degree. All in one cycle, there will be a 120 degree, and out of that, if the firing angle is of 60, then your SCR conducts for 120 maximum. It means if alpha is equal to 30, right, then definitely you will get a continuous operation. But if alpha is greater than 30, then the conduction angle is decreasing, that is less than 120, and then you will get a discontinuous operation. Okay, so this is about the three-phase half controlled rectifier, or we can say converter for midpoint, or maybe here for R load, right? This is for RL load, right? Uh, we are connecting here RL load. So again, the same thing as we know that inductor stores the energy during the on period of SCR, or you can say positive voltage. And whenever the voltage across that SCR is negative, then inductor start to release the energy through the same SCR, so that the energy is delivered from R supply to the SCR and so on, right? So that's, you will get a this negative part here. You will get a negative part, right? So if I want to remove this negative part, again we connect a trailing diode and so on. So that is another option. But the working is very similar to the single phase with inductive load. Only if you see here, these are actually a three half controlled converters. Sir. Three phase half controlled converters. So phase A, phase B, phase C, these are the three different phases. And the voltage, that is uh, three phase, basically these are the three single phase half controlled converter. It is basically a combination of three single phase half controlled converter. So the working is very similar, as already we know that the working of single phase uh, controller, single phase half controlled converter. So it is very similar to that, right? Here the current is continuous because the load current is continuous. So IA, that is the anode current, is continuous. This is a VO, that is the load voltage. Yes, sir. Okay. This is given here working of this particular circuit for your reference. So I'll just read it so that you can uh, understand what we learn here. So three phase half wave controlled rectifier as shown in figure. Uh, for the half wave three phase controlled rectifier, the load is connected between the converter positive terminal cathodes of all thyristor and supply neutral. Right. This is actually a cathode of all SCR with respect to the neutral, that is given here. Then as the voltage of, as this thyristor with the highest positive voltage of neutron, as the voltage of another thyristor become a highest, the load current is transferred to that device, and previously conducting device is reverse bias. Actually what happens, if the phase A, see here is the phase A, if phase A is more positive, thyristor T1 conducts, right? If phase B is more positive, thyristor T2 conducts, and if the phase C is more positive, thyristor T3 is conduct. So as already we learned in a previous example, that is same. Only the difference is inductive load, right? So we know that everyone, if we connect inductive load, what happens? Basically, inductor store the energy in its magnetic field, right? When the SCR is conducting, and whenever the supply at, for example, the phase A is more positive, so thyristor T1 is in conducting, right? So inductor store the energy, positive upper terminal, negative lower terminal, right? This is current flow through, right? Now, whenever the phase voltage A is maybe less positive as compared to any other, what happens? The inductor energy start to release through the same SCR. So SCR1 is continuously conducting till the second SCR is triggered, or maybe another SCR is triggered. So here the SCR is triggered, another trigger, then again it will start to charge the store the energy in its magnetic field. Then it will till on up to the 30 plus pi plus 120, right? This is actually a 30 plus alpha plus 120. So this will conduct for the next alpha, right? So this happens every time the inductor store the energy in its magnetic field, and whenever the particular phase is reversed, that time this energy stored by inductor, it releases that energy through the uh, that particular conducting SCR, right? So that SCR is continuously on in negative half cycle. So already we have learned this. You just remember the first one that I'll just show you. Working is same. Only there are three different phases. So three different phases. Uh, just okay. So this is inductive load. Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you. So this is a single phase half controlled converter for RL load. As we know that if SCR is on, inductor store the energy in its magnetic field, right? SCR is on from this alpha to 150, sorry, 180, right? At 180, this SCR should be turns off by natural commutation. But what happens? The inductor energy, it changes its polarity, that is downward terminal is positive with respect to upper terminal, and then inductor start to release the energy through supply through the thyristor. So SCR thyristor is remains on from pi to pi plus alpha, pi to pi plus alpha. So same thing is happen in a three phase, because this is a single phase, and this three phase converter is nothing but the combination of three single phase half controlled converters. Ah, this is a three phase half controlled converter for RL. So this first SCR is, and with RL is called as a single phase half controlled converter for RL load. Then thyristor T2, and this combination is another half controlled converter, and so on. So working is very similar. The working is given here for your understanding. The waveform for the supply voltage, then voltage, output voltage, and load currents are shown in above. The circuit consists of delta star connected transformer and three thyristor T1, T2, T3, which are connected on the secondary star connected winding and RL. When VA is positive, see this is the working actually. When VA is positive, T1 become a forward bias and conducts. During the negative half cycle of VA, the current through T1 is not a zero due to inductor, right? So inductor continuously deliver the energy stored through the same SCR. So SCR, it may be continuously conducting in negative cycle. So T1 will remain on during negative cycle of VA. When VB is positive, T2 is triggered and load current gets transferred from T1 to T2. At this instant, T1 turns off. Okay. During the negative cycle of a VB, the current through T2 is not zero, again due to the inductor, and same for the VC. Okay. This is the average load voltage. That is again same. That is depends upon a cos alpha. It means alpha basically, right? Remaining is same. 3 root 3 Vm by 2 pi. That is the cos alpha. This is the most important for rectifier. This above rectifier or converter uh, will work as a rectifier or as a converter from alpha equal to 0 to 90. But if alpha is greater than 90 up to 180, then that time you will get a most of the negative part. See here the alpha is just 30 or 40. If alpha is more, then what happens? I'll show you just the waveforms which are present here. See, this is alpha equal to 0, first one. right? Alpha equal to 0, you will get only positive pulses, right? No negative part. Negative part is 0. If alpha equal to 45, then what happens? The positive voltage is more, but there will be a negative voltage. This is a negative part, right? So this negative part comes if alpha is 45. Now see here, if alpha is 90, you can see here the positive part and negative part looks like the same, right? So this time the output voltage is 0, ideally 0. Output voltage is ideally 0. If the positive and negative, both part is same, so positive cancel, and that time you will get a output voltage equal to 0, right? If the alpha is greater than 90 degree, you can see here the most of the energy is a negative, right? So that is a transfer the energy from load to source. So this operation is called as a inverter operation, and this is a complete inverter operation if alpha is equal to 180. So this is the most important part. The operation of a three-phase half-wave rectifier with a different value of alpha is illustrated in a figure. Next slide. It can be seen that this converter can operate either as a rectifier or as a inverter. When load feeds energy to the supply, that time we can say the operation is called as a inverting or inversion operation, right? And it happens if the alpha is greater than, right? At 90, the output is 0, no positive voltage or no negative voltage, the output is 0. But if alpha is greater than 90, it may be 100, maybe at 110, then the operation you can see here, the positive part is a very small, but negative part you can see here, the negative part is most. So this negative part means that the energy is feed from load to supply. Okay, and at 180, it is totally energy feed from load to supply. So that time we can say that operation is called as a inverter operation. Even above 90-degree, this circuit will work as an inverter. Then next is a three-phase half controlled rectifier with R load. You can see here, this is again a half control. Okay, and the above is also a half control. Both are half control. Okay, so actually this circuit is a bridge type, but we are using here only 3 SCR and 3 diodes. So these diodes will work as a freewheeling diode. So whatever negative part we are getting, right, that we can eliminate here. See here, the alpha is greater than 30, greater than 40, but the negative part that is eliminated. See, the negative part is eliminated. Okay, so that is due to these 3 diodes. These 3 diodes will work as a freewheeling diode. Okay, so this converter is also called as a semi-converter. Okay, so 3 SCRs, upper arm all 3 SCR control devices, and lower arm all 3 diodes. Okay, so this circuit is also called as a semi-converter or three-phase half controlled converter for R load, that is a bridge type. Okay, so this is a semi-converter in which T1, T3, T5, these are the control elements. D4, D6, and D2 are the uncontrolled element, that is diodes. Okay, supply is given here VB, VC, and VC, VA, VB, VC. Again, same thing at the primary side, there will be a delta connected. At secondary side, there will be a star connected, but no neutral point. You can see here no neutral. Neutral point is absent. So even transformer is also optional. Even transformer is also optional. What is the meaning of my statement? The transformer is optional. It means that you can directly connect three-phase supply. No need to use a transformer. Okay, no need to use a transformer. Even you can directly connect the three-phase supply to this semi-converter. Okay, so this three-phase semi-converter without a transformer. But normally what happens, for isolation purpose, we are using a transformer. So you may ask, where is the isolation need? Basically, we are using the triggering circuits. So many times the supply voltage or load may be deliver some energy back to the supply, and that may damage your input supply, so that the transformer is used just for isolation. In such type of converter, the transformer is optional, but still we are using transformer for isolation purpose. Okay. So transformer is optional, that already I have given you. So transformer is not connected even the circuit directly phase A, phase B, and phase C direct connected to the converter. But in practical, transformer is used, okay, for isolation purpose. So we'll go for the next one. What happens in this particular uh, dear students, we'll just take a 2 minute break, and everyone should give your attendance in chat box privately, right? Immediately I'll just accept the responses from this particular time. The time is 12:70 to 12:20. Only 3 minutes I'll give you to give the response. And again I'll warn you, nobody should leave the meeting, nobody should leave the class. uh, those, because at the last again I'll take a screenshot so that I can verify the students those are giving their attendance in a private chat, actually that students are present or not. So don't leave the class. Once you give your attendance, I'll again call you to give attendance at the last, so that uh, I will compare your attendance, maybe a mid time attendance and at the end time attendance. So 29 students, 31 students, 32 students have given responses, but I again warn you, don't leave the class. Once your attendance is over, it means you cannot leave the class. Otherwise, I'll again compare your attendance at the time from 12:17 to 12:20. After 12:20, I'll not accept. Okay. And even at the last, again, I will take a responses. Okay. So attendance is given by a total 51 students, right? So last 1 minute, I'll save the chart responses. After that, if you are giving attendance, it will not be considered. Okay. Anyone, those who are remaining, give your attendance and don't leave the class. This is most important again for you. Okay. Right now, we'll continue. This converter uses 3 SCRs and 3 diodes. Okay. It's all right. So time is over. I'll not accept your responses. At the end, or maybe before 5 minutes or any time, I'll again tell you to give the responses, and I'll compare both the responses. Those are present at mid point, mid time, and maybe those are present at a last time. So I'll compare all both the responses, and according to the presentee in both responses, I'll mark your presentee. Okay. So this particular converter is called as a semi converter, or maybe called as a half controlled bridge converter. Okay. So in this converter we are using 3 SCR and 3 diodes. The freewheeling diodes, which are maybe you can use with the midpoint converters, that is eliminated, because this D2, D6, and D4, this will work as a freewheeling diode, right? So this particular operation rectifiers can be realized by replacing half of its thyristor with diodes. Therefore, the circuit, this particular circuit of a three-phase half control bridge converter contains 3 thyristor in a 3 arms and 3 diodes in another 3 arms, right? The circuit of a three-phase, it is a basically symmetrical configuration. So symmetrical half controlled bridge as shown in front of you. Okay. Uh, okay. So those who attend the lectures after 20-30 minutes, uh, I just want to say you, uh, we are taking a snapshot at the start, maybe after 10 to 15 minutes, maybe at the last. So already 3 students left the class. Definitely I'll take a snapshot, or I'll again call you to give attendance at the end, or maybe any time. And again I will compare those who are present at mid time and those who left the class after giving attendance. I'll definitely mark them as absent. So remember this, everyone should present at the end of this particular lecture. So in this particular configuration, 3 SCRs and 3 diodes we are using. Normally such type of circuits are used for high power ratings, that is above 120 kilowatt power ratings. Uh, so this circuit basically converter has uh, inherent freewheeling diodes that is connected directly given in a circuit. So these 3 freewheeling diodes, D2, D3, and D4, will work as a freewheeling diode as well as for current conduction during the on time. So we'll start with the working of this particular converter, right? Uh, this is another converter that is a full converter, but we will see the working of this converter first. Now, if we consider that the phase A is more positive, right? As we know that it's a three-phase supply. So one of the phase is definitely having a more positive as compared to the remaining two, right? So we can consider here first one, that is VAN, right? This VAN is a more positive at this pi by 6, above pi by 6. If the phase A is more positive, then the thyristor T1 is in forward bias condition, right? So current start to flow through this thyristor T1, then R, then diode D2, and back to the C, right? So actually what happens in this particular configuration, you can see here the thyristor uh, one, sorry, phase A is becoming a positive, and at the same time, the phase B is in uh, phase B is in negative, or maybe phase B is negative. If phase B is negative, the thyristor D6 is on. So your current flowing from T1. So just a minute. Okay. So device conducting, that is T1. Okay. So T1 and D6, that is conducting at a time, because the phase phase B, sorry, phase B is negative and phase A becoming positive, right? If phase B is negative, it means that, see, phase B is more negative. Actually, phase C is also positive. You can see here, phase C is positive, phase A is positive, only phase B is negative, right? So you can see here with the help of this waveform, only one phase is in most negative and only one phase is in most positive situation at any instant, right? So at this first instant, you can see here at waveform, the phase C is going to decrease the voltage. At the same time, phase A is increasing, right? So at this instant, pi by 6, we can say that the phase A is more positive and phase B is most negative, right? The phase B is most negative. So what happens? The thyristor T1 start to conduct because the A is positive. If you apply the triggering pulse to the T1 start to conduct, your current flows through T1, then R, right? Then diode D6, right? Why? Because the phase B is most negative. If phase B is negative, it means that thyristor DC6 is also forward bias. So current flows to T diode D6 and back to the supply B. Okay. So that time you will get a pulse like this one. It is basically called. This is for alpha equal to 0, right? Here the alpha is greater than 0. Here the alpha is 0, and here alpha is greater than 0. Then output may be like this. Alpha is again increasing, the output is like this, right? When alpha is again increasing, the output is like this. You can see here at alpha is greater than 90, this operation is also discontinuous. Okay, till alpha is less than 90, the operation is continuous. But if alpha is greater than 90, the output is discontinuous, right? In previous example, if alpha is greater than 30, then operation start to discontinue, right? But here the alpha is up to 90, the operation is continuous. You can see here in this particular situation, initially you can consider that alpha equal to 0, and if we trigger the STR T1, then current start to flow to the T1, then R, then D6 back to the phase B, because phase A is positive with respect to phase B. B is most negative and A is most positive. So thyristor T1 and diode D6 both are in a forward bias condition. So current flows from supply A, T1, then R, then D6 back to the phase B, right? And during next one, you can see here at after 150, what happens? The phase B is most positive, right? And phase C is most negative. Phase B is most positive and phase C is most negative. If phase B is positive, then the thyristor T3 is conducting. Thyristor T3 is conducting. At the same time, diode D4 also is in. Diode D4 is, sorry, diode D2, right? See, the phase C is connected to diode D2. So diode D3 and D2 conduct, thyristor T3 and diode D2 conduct. So current start to flow from B, T3, R back to the D2 and then phase C. Okay. So you can see here at a time one SCR and one diode is conducting. Those phase is most positive, the particular SCR is conducting, and those phase is most negative, the particular diode is conducting. Okay, so during phase A, when phase A is most positive, that time thyristor T1 is conducting. You can see phase A is most positive, that time the phase B is most negative. Okay, so phase B is negative, it means D6 conducting, T1 and D6. Okay, so in first part T1 and D6 is conducting, right? Okay, then during when phase B is most positive, that time the phase C is most negative. So T3 and D2 is conducting, and in the next cycle when C is most positive, that time the phase A is most negative. So T5 and D4 is conducting. T1, T6, T3, D2, and T5, D4. Okay, keep in this mind T1 and D6 conducting. Then in the next pulse, T3 and D2 is conducting, and in last pulse, T5 and D4 is conducting. You can see here the A is most positive, that time the B is most negative. Then second, B is most positive, the C is most negative, and in third, C is most positive and A is most negative, right? So in this way, as you increase the alpha, definitely what happens, you will get a cycle output like this. This is actually a alpha equal to something 30, 40, right? If you increase the alpha up to 90, okay, if your alpha is greater than 90, then output is a discontinuous. Okay, keep in this mind. Even it is at alpha equal to 60. Okay, alpha equal to 30, your operation is continuous. So from 0 to 30, output is continuous, and above 30, the output is discontinuous, right? So this is alpha equal to 60. If you increase further alpha, then you will get a discontinuous operation. You can see here in this figure, the output is discontinuous because from this particular part, the conduction angle is decreasing. So if conduction angle is decreasing, then the output is a discontinuous. So this is about the three-phase half controlled converter with R load, right? Even we can connect RL load. We will see RL load in the next time, in the next lecture. So this is a three-phase half control converter. I have already shared the notes, okay, of unit 2, PPT of unit 1, sorry, unit 2 and unit 3. I'll just share the notes of unit number 3 after ending of this unit, and I'll share some video with you, that is the working of single phase converter, working of three phase converter. Immediately after this class on your group, you can watch the video and you can further understand the working of these converters. Even at the end of this lecture, we will again discuss on the all maybe topics we have covered in this lecture. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in that particular lecture. Okay. So thank you all. You are attending the lecture. Your attendance is not good. That is 50, 51% or 51 student. It means that again the most of the students are not attending the class. So I'll send the message to your home so that the attendance. See, my dear students, if are having any problem, you can directly ask, right? But you cannot leave the class, or maybe you cannot uh, maybe become absent in a class because your presentee is again most important. And from my point of view, not only presentee, your attention is most important, because some students are attending the class at the end of class, maybe before 10-15 minutes and so on, so which is definitely a bad thing, right? So you must attend the lecture throughout 40 minutes. Now again, give the responses in a private chat box immediately. Just last 1 minute, give your responses in a chat box and in privately responses. So I'll compare the midpoint attendance and this one, and after that you can leave the meeting. Okay, just give the responses fast and then you can leave the meeting. Thank you all. Everyone, only 34 students, 35, 38. Come on, 51 students are present at mid lecture, midtime. Now just 42 students have responded, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Come on, I'll compare both lecture. Those are present in both the time. I'll consider only the attendance of that student. Maria, uh, you can unmute yourself and ask your problem.
Yes, sir.
What happens?
No,
Yes. Is there any difficulty?
no, sir.
Okay, then you are raising the hand. That's why I'm asking you. Okay, Maria, attend the
No, sir.
lecture.
By mistake, it was.
Okay, okay, all right. So, thank you all. You can leave the meeting. Thank you all.